Um, Here is Donald Trump in his press conference with Theresa May. I guess this was from yesterday or 2 days ago, talking about his plan. Now, remember, his plan, as far as I know, kicks in June 10th, he says, that if Mexico does not stop immigrants from entering its country, presumably so they can basically knock on our door to get into our country, then he will levy a 5% tariff on Mexican goods coming into this country, which will undoubtedly start off by hitting people living in lower incomes. It will then ultimately impact businesses that are selling to these people because the product will jump by 5%. And then he says every month after that, he's going to raise it 5% until it's 25%. And I don't really have a sense, frankly, of what kind of deprivation this is going to cause, to be totally honest with you. I do have a sense that it will severely hurt Republicans' chances of maintaining the Senate. So I need to do a little more digging before I publicly advocate for Donald Trump to do this. It'll be interesting to see as an experiment what happens when the president has no idea what he's talking about. But I imagine he will wriggle out of this in some way. But here he is talking about how, I don't know, what he expects Mexico to do, basically build their own wall.
They shouldn't allow millions of people to try and enter our country, and they could stop it very quickly. And I think they will. And if they won't, we're going to put tariffs on. And every month those tariffs go from 5% to 10% to 15% to 20% and then to 25%. And what will happen then is all of those companies that have left our country and gone to Mexico are going to be coming back to us. And that's okay. That's okay. But I think Mexico will step up and do what they should have been done. And I don't want to hear that Mexico is run by the cartels and the drug lords and the coyotes. I don't want to hear about that. A lot of people are saying that. Mexico has something to prove. But I don't want to hear that they're run by the cartels. You understand. You report on it all the time. A lot of people do. That would be a terrible thing. Mexico should step up and stop this onslaught, this invasion into our country, John.
Wow. I love how he says, like, I don't want to hear me say that they're run by cartels and coyotes and whatnot.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have an excellent opportunity to stop having that experience.
It'll be interesting to see if this works and how he wriggles out of this if it doesn't.
What was it we said? What was it? Lord, give me the strength to accept what I cannot change and the courage to change what I can.
There you go.
There you go, dude. Also, coyotes are not high in the hierarchy.
Yes.
That's just a little nitpicky of me here, but
I'm from the coyote party.
Yeah, we're part of the border smuggling group of the top echelon hierarchy of the Mexican cartel oligarchy.
How could wild dogs be running a country?
Our campaign calls for hovercrafts for everyone at the trying to get across the border and for the digging of a huge tunnel in an unnamed place. That's our campaign platform.
Remember when he thought the coyotes were literally like the animal?
Yes.
You should also help out AMLO. AMLO's trying to take on some of these structures in Mexico, which were facilitated by the Merida Initiative, where we militarized the drug war there in an unprecedented way.
That's not what
he
doesn't care.
Sam, I do know that Donald Trump is not sincere. I'm using that as a bridging point to mention some other worthwhile things for people to know about Mexico.
Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell is also aware of the dynamic I just expressed, that tariffs of 5% on Mexican goods coming to this country will hurt low-income people first, then will hurt businesses second, and third will hurt Republican senators. Mitch McConnell does not care about the first set of people whatsoever, only to the extent that it might have implications on some businesses. And to the extent that he cares about those businesses, I also genuinely believe that it's really just because it will impact his ability to continue to jam pack the courts with right-wingers. So here is Mitch McConnell bravely standing up to Donald Trump and saying, please don't.
Not much support in my conference for tariffs, that's for sure. But we appreciate the opportunity. We had an opportunity at lunch to talk to a number of representatives from the White House about this particular strategy. I think I can safely say most of us hope that this Mexican delegation that's come up here and discussed the challenges at the border and what the Mexicans might be able to do to help us more than they have will be fruitful, and that these tariffs will not kick in.
Now,
Holding
what that
the
sounds
line,
like to me
Mitch.
is Mitch is saying, why don't you guys hold some type of conference at a Trump Tower property or a Trump property? That might do it. I mean, that's apparently the way that payday lenders succeeded. They just had their $1 million conference at a Trump Doral golf course. I mean,
Reciprocity.
Mitch McConnell is
my
trying
favorite
to
word.
figure out a way that they can convince the Mad King to not do this without being seen as being against the Mad King in any material way. So, which is why he's talking about the Mexican delegation. Mitch McConnell is afraid of going head to head with Donald Trump because he knows the Republican Party is Donald Trump's party. And it has helped Mitch McConnell for decades control our court system in this country. But Mitch McConnell fears that he may lose the Senate if something like this happens. And they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They cannot control Donald Trump because their voters love Donald Trump. And this is the one area that they're worried about, businesses suffering. So we'll see.